I was looking everywhere on the internet for any type of inspiration. Anything I could find. Cats playing pianos, people playing the guitar with their feet. Anything I could find to give me some inspiration on what I would do for my final project. I remember I had a video of Aztec dancers. So I watched. I began this video and I just kept looking at everything they did, everything they wore, and everything I heard. It was great. Rattles, drums. I mean, look, you could just see them banging those drums and dancing to those rattles. And I thought to myself, I can do that. How? Rattles and drums, rattles and drums, drums and rattles. There it is, making a drum and a rattle, one instrument to do what they were doing with two. How would I do it? Let me show you. Hello folks, and thanks for joining me today, wherever you may be. I'm glad that you're here with me today. I'm going to be able to show you how I created my musical instrument. What I did was I started with a can of pineapples and created a membranophone / idiophone. It'll be shaken like a maraca, and it could also be tapped like a drum. Let me get started so this way you don't have to keep guessing what it looks like. So, I started with a can of pineapples, like I said. I removed everything because later on I want to paint this and make it look kind of, just a little bit cooler than a round can of empty pineapples. So we're going to remove the lid just using your average household can opener. But first, before we get started, we're going to be doing a little bit of construction on this thing. So we want to make sure everything's safe. I don't want people trying to make this and not practicing everything I did. So, just to be sure, if you're too young to do this, make sure you have your parents' permission. Alright, so you get your can opener and you open your can of pineapples. I will do that right here. It's a little bit easier on the arms. And boom, you have your empty can of pineapples. Now you want to make sure you rinse this thing out. There's more than one reason. One, smelly pineapple can happen, and then also it'll get sticky, and we're going to be using wood beads. These beads are from one of those curtains that's just made of beads, and I thought one or two strands wouldn't be missed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting the beads in here, and there's going to be a handle to hold this. So what I got to do now is I've got to drill a hole. I'm going to use my drill here with a 3/8 drill bit, and I'm going to put it through the can. Now be careful when you're doing this because sometimes you can slip. If you need help with the drill or something like that, make sure you get it. Alright? I'd be very careful when you're doing this. And then reverse it out. Alright. Now you have your nice, clean, washed, empty can of pineapples. Now you have a hole in it. So, what you're going to need is something to prod this with. Like I said, you don't want to be holding this thing because it makes a good sound, but your hand is still holding it. There's some vibration that you want from here, and so what I did was I'm going to be using a knife sharpener, and I'm going to prod it through the can. Maraca effect. But before that, I got to finish construction and make it a drum effect as well. So, I'll hold on to this for later. I'm going to use the plastic container that I had the beads in, and this is going to be my membrane. You might think that, sure, it's too big this way, and doesn't work out this way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes through this plastic thing, and I'm going to prod the plastic through the plastic and through the can. So, get that drill again, put that down. Safety, safety. If you need a spot, get it. More power if you need it. Alright. So now, you have the plastic with the holes in it. You try to line it up just as perfectly as you can. And that sound, the scratching, that's perfect because now you know it's tightly held and it's not going to move when you shake it. So, what is the effect? You have two sounds. You have the metal beads in here hitting the bottom of the can, and sometimes you have them hitting the top of the can, the membrane. This can also be played upside down so that the entire time the wood beads are hitting the membrane. Remember the first time? A little bit different of a sound. But it has a good vibration. So, now that you have your membrane on there, there's just one other piece. Most drums have studs that go all the way around that'll keep it held tight, looks a lot better, and so on and so forth. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a staple gun and put studs all the way around the side of the can. I'm going to leave the knife sharpener in there. I'm just kind of doing this playing it by ear, so let's see how it turns out. This might be kind of loud, so you might want to turn it down. I guess the drill is probably louder. And luckily, you can see the staples right here going through the plastic and getting through into the metal. Again, glasses, and I'm wearing gloves just because there might be some sharp plastic or sharp metal hanging around, so just be safe, okay? And of course you run out of staples sometimes, so be prepared with that. Alright, so now I've got a studded can. 1,000 years from now they're going to find this and they're going to say, wow, they made their own drums with staple studs. Alright, so now you have your instrument. Now, I said it's also a drum. I can use this definitely to shake, but I can also tap the shake. So just holding it, also, drumsticks. Now, is there anybody out there that is a drummer? Because I just played that kind of weird. Anybody a drummer? Alright. Take these drumsticks, and I want you to play the drum while I hold it. Because if you listen to the drum now, you're getting, you know, good sound or whatever, but there's no vibration. The whole meaning behind putting the prod in there is to make sure that this whole can vibrate. So when I hit it, it's much better than. So using the drumsticks, when it's held, is a lot better. So here, take the drumsticks and play it while I hold it. And let's see how this goes. Okay, thanks. Okay, so now we understand. This thing is definitely maraca. And it's definitely a drum. Point proven. Now, most drums are very beautiful sounding. Most maracas sound fantastic. But one thing that they always are is they're very beautiful. So I'm going to use just some regular black paint. I'm going to remove this, and I'll probably remove the staples, and I'll add the black paint and maybe put a little design on the bottom and leave this out like this so you can see the wood drums. I'm holding right now the final product, so I will pass it around and you can hand it around and bang it and rocket it all you want.